Everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. My name is Mandy, and I had a requested video of recreating the look that I had on in my August favorites video a little over a month ago. So that is what I am doing today. These are all of the products, all the way down to the sunscreen that I used that I had on in that video. I even wore the same shirt for y'all. At least I think this is the same shirt. It was hard to tell when I went back to look at the video, but everything else is definitely the same. So if you want to see how I did this look, let's jump in. I'm gonna start out with base per usual. I'm using the same SPF that I had on in that video. It is the Isden one. It's not the Isden one I got from Care2 Beauty. So I think the European version is a little bit different than the American version. I'm wearing the American version. I do already have corrector on, and the foundation slash tint that I used for that video is the CL Tint and Protect SPF 50. I've talked about this since I have gotten it, but I haven't talked about it a ton. And that is for two reasons. One, it's a little bit dark. I'm gonna make it work. Clearly I made it work in that video. I have the shade medium, and the swatches online looked way lighter than it actually showed up as being. But also because while I like this, I just don't personally feel like it's the end all be all that so many other people say it is. But I have been trying to give it more of a chance, which is why I had it on in that video. So I'm gonna take some on my hand, and I have been loving this new Nikki LaRose N20 from BK Beauty for my foundation slash tints. So I really just kind of buff it on. The long duo fibers on this brush shear it out enough, but still maintains coverage. And I had mentioned in my review of these brushes in that video that this is one of my top 3, and I still stand by that because I just love it, and I've been using it almost every day for foundation. The only time I don't is if I'm using a much thicker formula. It doesn't buff it out as much or as well, but I don't have very many super thick formulas, so this tends to work for me. So while this has SPF 50, clearly, as I stated, I have another SPF underneath it. I do not rely on my skin tints to give me sun coverage or sun protection. I know a lot of people who feature this tint do use it as their sun protection, and it comes in like a pipette. The amount that I used is enough to give me SPF 50 on one cheek. It's just not, I mean, it doesn't hurt that it has SPF in it by any means, just a bonus, but it's just not enough to get what you need as far as true SPF goes. See how that brush just buffed it in so nicely. I used my Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation in the shade Vanilla for my concealer. Are there even any new concealers on the market, y'all? I just have my ones that I love so much. If you missed my favorite concealer video that I recently posted, definitely check that out because I just don't feel the need for any other concealers. So I think that even if concealers are launched, I kind of just glaze over them and forget that they launched, because in my mind, they just can't be as good as the ones I love. I set my under eyes with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder in Soft Pink. I am almost out of this, which says a lot because it comes with a lot of product. I just can't stop using it. I love the original, but I love the Soft Pink even more. And this is just, a lot of this is gonna be so repetitive, y'all, and I don't know if that annoys some of y'all, but I do always link what I have on my face down in the description box, and so many wanted to see this look knowing what it consisted of. And I'm not apologizing for loving the same things. I just know it can get kind of repetitive. I do have a couple of new videos or new makeup videos coming up. I'm setting my T-zone with my Fit Glow. This is an everyday thing. Like, repetitive will be repetitive forever. But I do have some new makeup videos coming up. One of them may have already gone up before this one. And I get, like, as a viewer, it can get boring and repetitive, but I also think that there's some value, at least me as a viewer of other channels, I find value in seeing the same thing over and over because it makes me realize, hey, they actually do really love it. They're not just saying they love it so that they can promote it and then move on to the next best thing. They really love it. And that's just how I am with these products, especially in the month of August when this was, you know, my August favorites. And even September, I just really used repetitive products. Sicily, now this is the old version. They took out the talc. This is Irisy or Irisay or good old Iris if you're from Nashville, but it is that shade in the old Photo Touche powder. And man, oh man, I just don't see how the new version can be better than this one, but I've talked about how I don't love that talc is being taken out of everything because it just does something special in my skin. So I don't especially now like to get backups of makeup because I just have so much. I just want to concentrate on loving what I have for the most part. This might be something I want to get a backup of if I can find this version because I just don't know how the new one can be better. This bronzer has been on repeat. I honestly don't know how I have not hit pan on it yet. The Dolce & Gabbana Face and Eyes Powder in light medium. It's honestly the best color bronzer I think I have in my collection. For me personally, it is very neutral. It's matte. It doesn't, give any extra luminosity to the skin, but it also doesn't make your skin look flat. For a Dolce & Gabbana product, I don't find that this is that expensive compared to other, luxury bronzers that you can get. This is the new Nikki LaRose BK N18. August was the month of True Harmony for me from MAC in their Glow Play blushes. Let me know if you want not a favorite blush video, but I guess it could kind of translate into that, but a favorite blush formula because there's so many. There's cream to powder or putty type blushes. There's powder, there's liquid, there's creams. I could definitely do that video, but spoiler alert, this one is gonna be very high up on the list. I have so many of these shades because you just can't mess them up and they always look good. You don't need a highlighter. I used one in that video, but you don't need one. They wear well. I'm gonna buff with my Hourglass Radiant Light before I put on highlighter. And for highlighter, I used Hourglass Crystal Slipper. Just pretty far up on my cheekbone. Again, because the blush gives me a good amount of highlight and, luminosity down here. I don't necessarily need to double up on that. I don't need a highlighter at all. But if I wanted to add one like today and like that day, where I'm wearing a luminous blush also, I'm really just gonna kind of concentrate it high up versus pulling it all the way down, which I might do if I was wearing more matte blush. That is it for the face. For the eyes, I used my Kevyn Aucoin individual eyeshadow, which these are fairly new. I think they've been out maybe since July. And this is in the shade Caramel. So just a really pretty, very matte, warm brown shade, not too dark. And I have been using that, I'm gonna have to buff that out because that came out a little dark, as a crease shade. I think I'm using a little bit of a dense brush. I'll make that work. This is a 15 Max from Rephr. So this is like one of those shades like Jane Iredale Sienna or Chanel Frappe Latte or Latte Frappe. I can never remember how that is. But it's one of those shades, one of those single individual shades that I know I can take with me traveling or I can have on my vanity and use as my crease color every single time. And no matter what shade I use on my lid, it can be cool toned, it can be warm toned, doesn't matter. Matte, shimmer, it's going to go. There are a few other shades in this. I have not personally physically seen any of them, but they are pretty and I do like this formula. Just gonna try to make that match as much as possible. And then the Dior single shadow in Nude Dress, which I can't remember what video I talked about this in. Did I show it in a video? I tried to go back and look, but I couldn't find it, but that doesn't mean anything. But I love this as a gorgeous neutral bronzy lid shade that, as you can see, requires very little work. I'm gonna use Victoria Beckham in Cinnamon. Y'all, I saw the new Cocoa set and I really wanted to get it because the eyeshadow palette looks lovely. Cocoa, as far as the liner goes, is my most used liner in my professional kit. But I don't want to be hit with any carrier fees. And I've been hearing so many people get stuck with these fees either before they get their package delivered, and if they don't want to pay the fees, which can be exorbitant, then the package gets sent back, or they get a bill like 3 weeks later. So if anybody's ordered from the Victoria Beckham site where it's coming from overseas, let me know if you've had any of those. I know you can get Victoria Beckham on Nordstrom and Blue Mercury, but they don't have that set. And it's probably even sold out by the time I put this video up. But the new eyeliner in that set, oh, it looks so good. And I think I used the Kevyn Aucoin under my lash line on that video, but I want to use the liner because I used to do this every single day, no fail, with this liner when I first got it. And I started doing it, I don't know, last week. I'm like, why did I stop? I just love the effect this gives under the eyes. For mascara, I used my Vive. This is the Modern Mascara. I think they have since launched a new one. I think it's called Icon. This is a very fluffy brush. That one has more of like a thinner, almost, it looks like plastic bristles versus the more natural ones like this is. Y'all, my heart palpitations are out the roof right now. Who else is having that be the worst symptom right now for their perimenopause? I just can't get over the fluttering in my chest. I think this one is about done, which makes me sad because it quickly became a favorite. And do you see why? It's like your lashes just cannot contain themselves when you use this mascara. It's so good. I'm so sad it's almost gone. To finish off the look, I'm going to use the Sarah Creole lipstick in Invisible Labor, which is what I had on in that video. There's nothing wrong with this lipstick. I love the color, clearly I love a nude. I just don't think it's worth $50. I love the packaging. Can't go wrong with green. And I did use my City Lips in Pink Nude on top. Just a little bit. The Invisible Labor has a little bit of shine to it, but I don't know. I feel like it's not a complete look if I don't use some kind of City Lips color. And to finish off the look, I'm going to spray some perfume. I have officially pulled out my fall scents, even though it's still 89 degrees here. And I'm gonna use Janie from Soradora, which is just such a beautiful apple pie scent. I wore Angel Share yesterday, and this is somewhat similar. It's a little bit lighter than that, and it's a little bit more caramel-like, but they are very similar. So that's it. This is the look from my August favorites video. I will have everything I used listed and linked down below. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.